Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Omicron BA.2 variant confirmed in Jamaica. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that the highly transmissible Omicron BA.2 variant has been detected in Jamaica. The ministry says 89 samples collected between January 1 to March 4 were submitted for genome sequencing, with the results showing 98.9% were Omicron variants and 1.1 Delta variant. Of the Omicron samples, 2 of 88, or 2.3%, were BA.2 variant and 97.7 were BA.1 variant. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisosa Mackenzie cautioned that the BA.2 variant, according to the World Health Organization, is the dominant variant globally, and the type of illness associated with this variant is similar to the BA.1 variant. The variant is highly transmissible, and as a result, there may be an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases, she noted. While the majority of cases appear to be mild, persons with comorbidities are at risk for severe illness, and persons who have mild symptoms or no symptoms may be at risk for developing long COVID. The public is therefore encouraged to practice infection prevention and control measures, including wearing of masks, hand washing, physical distancing, and staying home if you are sick, said Bisosa Mackenzie. The Health Ministry is reminding the public that vaccines are widely available and protect against severe illness. Charges reduced against Mushet High School student, teen to reappear in court Friday. A schoolgirl accused of stabbing another during a fight had the charge against her reduced when she appeared in the family court recently. The Mushet High School teen, who was charged with wounding with intent, is now charged with unlawful wounding. Her case is set for mention on Friday. The teen was charged after the injured girl was stabbed in the face and arm during the fight. Several videos of the fight, the injuries, and even the detention of the alleged stabber by the police were posted on social media. Both girls were suspended from the school for 2 weeks after the incident. They have since returned to classes. One video footage shows the two girls throwing punches and kicks. Some students look on excitedly, cursing indecent language and cheering, while others tried to part the fight. When they finally parted, one of the girls had blood on her school uniform from several stabs she received from what seemed to be a pen. Another video showed the girls with the bleeding stab wounds standing alone as some students led her away, apparently to get treatment. In another footage, the student accused of doing the stabbing is seen being taken from a bus by the police, while in a picture, the student who was injured showed her sewed-up wounds. Alleged getaway driver charged with Malvern double murder. Police have charged a St. Elizabeth farmer in connection with last week's double murder in Malvern, a morning of terror in the usually quite deep rural area. Charged is 37-year-old Carlos Beckford of Brompton District in St. Elizabeth, who was allegedly the driver of a vehicle transporting gunmen in the incident. Michael James, 39, otherwise called Custos, a resident and master of Smithfield District in Malvern, and 51-year-old Courtney Smith, otherwise called Patrick, a farmer and resident of Smoothland near Santa Cruz, were killed following a series of incidents on April 13. A report from the Police Corporate Communications Unit (CCU) stated that about 4 a.m., the gunmen robbed a bar and sexually assaulted a woman in Hampton, which neighbors Malvern. A subsequent report from the police said $2 million in cash was stolen from the bar. The police said James was among a group of people in search party who was in pursuit of the gunman when he was shot dead. According to the police, shortly after, Smith was on his way to the farm when he was robbed and shot dead by the gunman. The police said the driver of the vehicle, which was transporting the gunman, was apprehended with the assistance of residents. Residents of Malvern on Wednesday expressed their shock and anger following the morning of terror in their community. The police said Beckford gave a caution statement admitting to transporting the gunman to the location. Beckford reportedly said he was in the process of transporting the gunmen away, but had to let them out due to the roadblocks that were mounted by the police and residents. He was also interviewed in the presence of his attorney, after which he was charged. The cell phone that belonged to Smith was found in the vehicle that Beckford was driving. In addition to the murders, Beckford was charged for shooting with intent, robbery with aggravation, illegal possession of firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, and conspiracy. The police said 3 poker boxes and an assortment of top-shelf liquors were among the items stolen during the robbery. The poker boxes were found in bushes. Beckford is to appear in the St. Elizabeth Parish Court on Wednesday, April 27, 2022. Trapped by floodwaters. Heavy rains on Tuesday night triggered a flood of renewed complaints as a 68-foot-deep pond overflowed its bank and inundated road, heaping misery on residents at East Avenue in Linstead, St. Catherine. Their frustration was evident when reporters visited the area, as many homeowners said they had grown weary from the decades of cries for improved infrastructure. 82-year-old Maylin Allen has seen the worst of the flooded streets over the many decades. Recalling the floodwaters crashing into her home in 1979, she said that all her possessions were destroyed and she, her husband, and 2 children had to start over life on higher ground. Allen, who now lives with her 84-year-old brother, as her husband died in 2001, said that on some days she is left trapped in her home without a route to get into Linstead Square for much-needed supplies. Whenever the rain falls, we trap up here and we can't come out and we have nowhere else to go. We just have to stay at our yard and suffer, she explained. And although Tuesday's rains weren't as bad as those of previous times, the submerged roadway made it impossible for her to venture out without fears of being injured. Right now, I'm just here by the grace of God. Me no have nowhere to walk, me just there sit down, and me just a pray and beg God for no make no more rainfall, she said, with a longing for the area to receive some attention from the authorities. Godfrey Palmer, who lived next door to Allen, has been a resident in the community for more than 7 years and lives in front of the flood-prone area. He told reporters on Wednesday that he had to walk through his neighbor's backyard and take a different route to get into Town Square from his house. It's still good to know, he said, as the water had begun receding. Sometimes it black for a couple of days well, and nothing can pass here. Garfield Mortley said flooding has been an issue since he was a child attending Linstead Primary, and he recalled days when he had to use the local playfield as a shortcut to get home, a path he still uses today. For years, residents have been lobbying for the road to be raised or for a bridge to be built, bringing those concerns before their councillor numerous times. Herbert Garkes, who represents the Linstead Division, who also falls in the St. Catherine Northwestern constituency, represented by Member of Parliament Hugh Graham, told reporters that he was aware of the situation and had raised the matter several times at council sessions. But with an annual budget of $400,000 from the municipal corporation for drainage maintenance, it has been an impossible task for Herbert to keep up with the 34 pond drains and sinkholes located in his division alone. Herbert noted that the sinkhole located across the road from the pond is also in need of maintenance, having last been cleaned in 2018. He argued that the sinkholes, especially the one in question, must be cleaned at least twice a year to provide effective drainage during periods of heavy and prolonged rainfall. With additional drains and ponds to manage, Herbert noted that the drains of the Bangori district and at Grove Road, which cost no less than $120,000 and $100,000 respectively, swallowed up the lion's share of the funds allocated for maintenance. He added that an estimate was commissioned in light of the recommendation for the construction of a bridge due to a dip in the road, but at $30 million budgetary constraints have resulted in the shelving of any immediate plans for such a project, which has been deemed infeasible. It's really tough. When I tell you it's tough, he said. It cannot be that each year you come here and you quarrel, and the same $400,000 gets allocated, he said, of his efforts, admitting that the situation could not be rectified anytime soon. Because the pond overflows each time there is a heavy downpour, the road surface has also been eroded over time, presenting an additional issue to address. New fire station lights up Old Harbour. After a 17-year delay, firefighters of Old Harbour now have a salubrious place to call home. Following an official opening ceremony on Tuesday, the newly constructed fire station is now fully operational to serve the vastly developing township with a population of around 35,000. The investment will be key to the St. Catherine town, which has benefited from major housing developments over the last 2 decades and is a central location for the business community. The facility will also be more efficient if in its emergency services offers and assistance to hospitals and health centers, as well as the Old Harbour Health Center, which is slated to undergo a $489 million upgrade to a Type 5 health center. The new fire station, constructed from Jamaica $59.7 million, will house 32 firefighters and 2 civilians, putting an end to entities from better working condition. The antiquated building, located at 25 South Street, became deserted in 2005 after firefighters had to vacate in the wake of a declaration by health officials that it was unsafe. The building experienced a rodent infestation, among another host of health hazards. Firefighters were later accommodated in a refurbished house on Marley Acres Drive, which they occupied for 17 years. In 2020, firefighters complained about an overflowing sewage system, as well as cramped space and a lack of basic amenities. In his remarks, Stuart Beckford, Commissioner of the Jamaica Fire Brigade JFB, expressed his joy at the opening of the new facility. Today, indeed, marks a very important milestone for the St. Catherine Division generally, but more importantly, for the Old Harbour Fire Station, said Beckford. Beckford also recognized the firefighters' remarkable sacrifice and perseverance in working under adverse conditions. In addition to bolstering operations to aid the brigade's fire response capacity, Assistant Commissioner Andrew Russell, who is in charge of Area 3, believes that employee morale will be enhanced. In an interview with reporters, Russell said that the wider community would benefit from improved service quality and productivity. He also mentioned that with rank and gender-specific accommodations, more female officers will be able to join the JFB. Currently, men outnumber women 7-1. Hedley Shaw, who serves as Assistant Commissioner in charge of Area 3 from 1994 to 1998, also expressed pride at witnessing the station's transformation, which he told reporters was desperately required even during his tenure. In his address, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie boasted that 2022 would be a busy year for the opening of fire stations. We have to celebrate 60 years of greatness of the JFB, and we're going to make the 60th anniversary of Jamaica's independence a good one with the JFB at the forefront, because the men and women deserve it, he said, in reference to the underappreciation of firefighters by the general public. 3 of the 4 stations which the local government ministry committed Jamaica $924.7 million for the JFB are set to open this year. The new Montego Bay Fire Station, located at Barnett Street in St. James, is expected to open in May at a cost of $574 million. The Yalas Fire Station in St. Thomas and the Port Maria facility in St. Mary, both worth more than $100 million, are also set to reopen soon. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.